Here we are starting Excel. If you look and notice, you still have a ribbon like you did in Word. You have your home layout, tables, charts, smart art, formulas, data, and review. Up above that, you'll see the menu bar with File, Edit, View, Insert, Format, Tools, Data, Window, and Help. So taking a look in Excel, you're going to see that you still have the different groups, which within each tab we'll primarily be using home, layout, table, charts, smart arts, and formula, but that will be further along in the unit. So Excel is sheets. It has the ability to perform math calculations. It allows you to filter, sort, perform math calculations again, create charts, all of which we will be doing. If you look here, the numbers represent your rows, the letters represent columns. So you see the intersection in where a row and a column meet is a cell. You can see that it's purple here, so I'm in E8. You can also figure that out by looking over in the upper left-hand corner here. This is going to be your name box. It's going to tell you which is the active cell. So right now, E8, if I click somewhere else, you can see that L27. So say I wanted to go into a specific cell, say I wanted to do A3, I could select and type that in and press enter, and then notice it makes A3 my active cell. Right here is the formula bar. The formula bar is what's used when typing in information. It previews what is in your cell. So if I have C6, the active cell, and I go ahead and type in my name, not only do you see it in the cell, you see it up here in the formula bar. I'm going to go ahead and delete that. You can resize your rows and columns just like you could in Word with a table. If you move your insertion point in between a column heading such as like A and B, you get the double-sided arrow and you click. See the screen hint that pops up that shows the width? I can drag this to the right or drag it to the left to resize it. That would be the column width. Row height is you move your insertion point in between the row headings and you can move those as well. When you open a new workbook, you're going to notice at the bottom it says Sheet 1. You can add in multiple sheets. Notice how I just did that by clicking the plus arrow. Right now, this is titled Workbook 1. What we want to go ahead and do right now is go ahead and let's do a quick save. And I would like you to save this as Enrollment Lesson 1. So again, we're going to do a file save, and remember we're saving this into your Computers in Society folder, and I'm going to go ahead and call this Enrollment Lesson 1. The instructions for Lesson 1 are also in Google Classroom. I am going to maneuver and kind of hop around through this video, so you can either listen to this video or read the directions on your own. Okay, go ahead and make C3 your active cell, and we're going to go ahead and type enrollment increase. Now you'll notice that in C3, enrollment increase goes into the D column, and that's fine at this point in time. Go ahead and take a look at the directions, and we're going to type what follows. In B5, go ahead and key dates. Press tab, it takes you over to C5. Go ahead and type in elementary schools. Press tab again and click secondary schools, or type secondary schools, excuse me. Now notice in C5, elementary schools is cut off. All you would go to do is click and drag to the right, and then you can see all of the text within there. Now what we're going to go ahead and do In B5 through D5, we are going to highlight that and we're going to bold the text. So whenever you see something B5 through D5, like what I have highlighted right here, that is a range. That indicates to you that more than one cell is selected. So again, select B5 through D5 and bold the text. Now notice here where it says secondary schools, it goes into column E. I can go ahead and resize that. If you put your mouse in between column D and E and double click, notice how it auto fits the contents of the cell to that. That's the same that it did in Word as well. I could do that for columns C and D. I'm going to go ahead and click in B5 and I'm going to key the rest of the information that is on page 4 of the directions. It starts in the entering data section, so go ahead and see that screenshot and enter that data in now and pause the video. Once you finish typing, you should have the information keyed in right here. If you don't, go ahead and pause the video and key in the information. Let's go ahead and do a quick save since we added text and data to this. Now what we're going to go ahead and do is format the date. So if your date doesn't look like mine, no stressing out. Go ahead and highlight the range B6 through B12. What we're going to Okay, go ahead and make sure B6 through B12 is selected. You're going to go up to Format on the menu bar, press Cells, and then look, it takes us into the Format Cells dialog box. In Category, make sure Date is selected. This is where we can go in and format our date specifically to how we would like it to appear within our table. Now, just because it says 3/14/01 doesn't mean that that's the date that in which it's going to show up in there. That's just the cell format that it's, or the date format in which it's going to look. So if you scroll through, you can see the different formats. Let's go ahead and make sure the first one is selected and go ahead and click OK. You'll notice mine didn't change because it was already formatted that way. No big deal. Now let's go ahead and in cell E5, key in the text total students. Now, what we're going to want to do right now is perform a math calculation. And what we want to do is add the elementary students and the secondary school students. So we're going to be taking 85 plus 110. Now, we're not going to just type the answer in. We want to have Excel figure it out for us. So anytime that you're wanting to do a type of math or calculation, you're going to go ahead and press the equal sign. This tells Excel that we're doing some type of math. So right here you see where I put the equal sign. Then we can take our mouse and go over to C6 and click it. Notice how it put C6 there in our E6 cell. Now the type of math that we're going to be doing is addition. So we're going to put a plus sign and then we're going to go ahead and click D6. And it puts D6 in there and I'm going to press enter and it gives us 195. Now look, when it appears, 195 appears in E6, when I have it selected and you go up to the formula bar, it shows us what we typed in to get the results 195. Now, there's a couple other ways to do this. Say that we were adding up a bunch of numbers, so more than just two. We could go in and do a function, and the function uses a word for Excel to indicate what we're doing. So another word for addition is sum. So if I went ahead and typed in sum, notice how this recently used functions box pops up. I click my word sum and then we have parentheses right here and it wants to know what range to add up. So I could click and drag to the right. So we have C7 through D7 and I press enter and it gives us an answer. Now you'll notice that little green arrow right there, or triangle. No worries, not a big deal. So now when I have this cell selected, instead of having to go through and do that for every single cell there, we have something called autofill. If you move your mouse over the lower right hand corner of E7, notice how you get the black plus, click and drag down all the way to E12 and release. Notice it goes ahead and it copies that function down that we did, and it gives us answers there. So notice if I click in E9, look up and you'll see where it says sum right there. Same for E11 and E12. Go ahead and do a quick save. If you made a mistake anywhere, you can go ahead and rewind a little in the video and play again. Okay, let's go ahead and click in F5, and I want you to go ahead and key what I'm keying. So, and then you might need to go ahead and readjust your column width. Now what we're going to do in cell F6 is we're going to find the percent of elementary schools. Oh, we'll notice that I need to readjust my column for column E. So we know we're doing math, so we're going to go ahead and put our equal sign there. And to figure out the percentage of elementary school or elementary school students, you're going to take the total number of elementary schools and do what type of math you say. If you said divide, you are correct, and you're going to divide that by the total number of students. So let's go ahead and click on C6. You're going to use the divide symbol. You're going to click on E6, and notice here we have our formula right there. I'm going to press enter. Now, currently it's not in a percent. We'll go back and do that in a second. Now, just like before, we can use our autofill feature. Before I do that, we want to just go over how we got our answer. Equals, you're going to click on C7 divided by E7. Press enter. There we get our answer. Now I can use my autofill button. Now go ahead and calculate the percent of secondary schools now. So we would take secondary schools divided by total students. Go ahead and do that and do a quick save. Okay, now that we have all of our numbers there, what I want you to do is go ahead and select the range F6 through G12. So I have this range selected. We're going to make sure that we are on our home tab. We're going to go all the way over to the number group. Do you see where it says general? There's a list arrow. You can click that. Or if you see the percent button, we can go ahead and click that. Notice I click that and it turns my decimals into percents. Now, we want to have 2 decimal place showing. Now, notice right now I do not. You're going to see these 2 buttons right here. Notice if I click the increase the number of decimals, I now have 2 decimals. Look, I can remove it. Click it twice, and then I have my decimals there. Let's go ahead and do a quick save. I want to go ahead and select E3. I want to go make that a size 18, and I'm going to change it to a font of my choice. We're going to go with that one, and I'm going to do a quick save. I'll go ahead and make sure you take a look at your finished product. Hopefully it looks like mine. Double check with the directions, save, and you're going to go ahead and start on lesson 2. Lesson 2 you are going to complete on your own by reading the instructions.